Hello everyone, it's Amy, and I am here to show you my first project for hashtag lovesummerart. It's going to be a quick card tutorial, and it's called Summer Moon. So to start with, you're going to need some blue ink pads, green ink pads, and a brown ink pad. You will need a tree stamp of some sort. I'm using this one from Stampin' Up! From their Lovely as a Tree collection. You will need a piece of acetate, and I did leave the sticker on here so I wouldn't lose my acetate. And then you'll need a 1-inch circle of contact paper, and I just used a punch to punch that out. And that's going to be our moon. So we're going to take that and decide where we want to place our moon. I think I'll put it right about there. Give that a good press because you want it to stick. And then you're going to take some cardstock, just some scrap cardstock, and we are going to just give it a rip. The first rip across will be fairly straight. This is going to be where your water meets your land, and this is going to be used as a mask. And then, well, this end is already ripped in a nice mountainy type shape, so I'm just going to leave that like it is. Then we're going to decide how tall we want our water. We're going to use brushes to put our ink on, and these brushes I got at the dollar store, at the Dollar Tree, for $1. And they're just makeup brushes. And what I did, because they're so soft and fluffy, I just grabbed my brush, the bristles tight, and then I just took a rubber band and wound it around there, because that made the brush part a lot firmer. So then we're going to just start. I've got some distress inks here. I've got Faded Jeans, and I've got a Color Box Archival Moody Blue, and Tumbled Glass for distress inks. So we're going to start at the top, and I'm going to start with the tumbled grass, which is just a little bit lighter. And we're just going to come off of our mask onto our card. And then let's get in with some of the darker colors. We have to remember that the water is going to be darker than the sky because it is nighttime. And so we want to get our water fairly dark. Use a little bit of the Moody Blue. Mostly the Faded Jean because it's the darkest blue that I have here with me. And we're just going to get that on there and get it in there nice and dark. And you could always come back later if you need to and put in a little bit more if you feel like you haven't really got enough depth and color there. So I think that's probably pretty good for our water. And I just bent my mask, so let's get that off of there. Okay, so there's our water, and now we are going to put in our land. So we're going to use the other side. And I use the fuzzy side of where I ripped because it tends to lay flatter than if you try and use the other side. It really wants to come up. And we're just going to kind of decide. Let's put some hills in here. And now we're going to go to our green inks. And I have Mowed Lawn and Forest Moss. And we're just going to come off of our paper, off of our mask, and just come down towards the water. Now with the distress inks, they blend really nicely, so it's okay that you get a little bit onto your blue. You do want to make sure that they connect. And a little bit doesn't make a difference. And of course you can go a little bit slower and do it a little more carefully when you're not on a time constraint. So there we go. There's some of our hills, and let's put some more in over here. Let's go, well, let's get a different angle on this. Let's go like that. And again, come off your mask onto your paper. That's what gives you your deeper contrast along the edge, so that when you put on your next set of hills, you're not completely blending out the hills you've already put in. Just put that on there. And I am getting a little too much green in my water, more than I normally would, but you get the idea. And there we go. Look at that. There's some more. And then finally I want one more, and I want it to come up at an angle other side. Just kind of decide where you think you want it. I think we'll put it right in here. Yeah, that looks good to me. Make sure you use the right brush. I really don't like it when I grab the blue brush, put it in my green ink, and then go to put it on here, and it looks like, not so well. Okay, so we're going to get this in here. Better move a little faster before I run out of time. And again, let's get a nice dark edge there. And there we go. So there's our land and there's our water. Now we're going to put our trees on. And with our trees, I'm going to use the forest moss for the trees. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the vintage photo and try and get it where my tree trunks are. Now again, you can do this a lot slower. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the vintage moss across the bottom, or the, whatever it is, forest moss, where the land is. So whenever you get ink on the edges of your stamp, make sure you wipe it off, because if you rock it at all, it will get on your card. And that wouldn't be very happy. So if it gets up in between the trees and that type of thing, that's not a big deal. The stamp will hold it up, but along the edges you could accidentally rock it and get it onto your card. So I usually just like to try and wipe that off. Decide where we're going to place our trees. I think we'll put them right here. There we go. And it's not how hard you press, it's how long you leave it on there so that the ink has time to soak into your paper. So you don't have to, just give it a few minutes, let it sink into your paper. You know, you do have to put a little pressure, but not a lot. And take that off, and there's our trees. Now what we're going to do is we're going to re-ink our stamp. Get up well. Let's get a little bit of the brown in there for the tree trunks. Let's get the grass back at the bottom. And then let's wipe our stamp off. I really don't need much of this grass on here. I just really need the trees and the tree trunks. Okay, now we're going to take our stamp and we're going to stamp it on our acetate. Don't let it slip, don't let it move, straight down, straight up. Acetate is slippery and it smears a lot. So straight down, straight up. Now let's take those trees and let's give them a reflection. Let's put them over just a little bit. Press that down again. Make sure you're straight down, straight up. Your moon is over here, so your reflection's coming this way a little bit, and that's why we moved it over just a little bit. Now, if I weren't to have put the acetate on there, and I had just taken this stamp and stamped it upside down, it wouldn't match because this tree is over there, and this tree is over here, so it wouldn't have matched. That's why you use the acetate. Pick that up, and there's our shadow. The last thing that we have to do is go ahead and put in our sky, and I'm going to use my lighter color around the moon, and that one is the tumbled glass, which really is a little bit too light. Let's come back in with the other. Just mix them up and get them up there in the sky. Normally you'd want to, which in my haste, I really got close to the moon. You should leave just a little bit lighter around the moon because it's going to glow. But there's our sky. Okay, and then I'm going to take just a little bit of the green on a sponge. I'm just going to kind of color in my trees a bit because it's not winter. And again, you know, you'll want to take a little bit more time at this, but just kind of giving you an idea. There we go. Get some leaves on those trees. Nice summer walk next to the lake with the reflections. I'm going to wipe this off a little bit because I definitely don't want these to be real dark. And I got it kind of dark anyways. And there we go. Smear that over a little bit. And there we go. For the big reveal, let's see our summer moon. Voila. And there we go. This is my card called Summer Moon. I hope that you are all having an outstanding time with #lovesummerart. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.